Okay, it's Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. It's 5 o'clock and we're going to start the Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It'll be interesting to see what that tape sounds like.
Yeah, right. With all of us wearing masks.
Item 2, approval of the Select Board meeting minutes, 11/4/2020.
Make a motion to approve 11/4/2020 select board meeting minutes.
Second. In favor? We're all in favor. Review of treasurer's warrants, payroll 89 and 91, and accounts payable 90 and 92.
Make a motion to approve A and B is read.
Second.
All in favor? We all vote in the affirmative. There are no guests, so there'll be no open session. Old business, COVID update, Governor Mills executive order.
I sent them out late this afternoon, sorry about
I
that.
kept checking and I never, by the time,
It was 3:30 by the time I,
okay, I never did see it.
the
It's pretty
big,
simple, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Wear your mask.
in a nutshell, anywhere, if you're not in your house, you should be wearing a mask. And they set the indoor gathering limit back to 50.
Is that right?
In Massachusetts, it's now no longer, the only two states now you can travel back and forth through is New Hampshire and Vermont.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that went into effect Monday.
Wow.
And New Hampshire is having some issues, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, probably won't be long when that'll change too.
Wow.
As of today, that's the last I heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I
Good.
will read that.
Yeah, we've been making everybody wear masks and making the ladies in the office wear their masks, except if they're sitting at their desk.
Yeah. But when they come to the
Window.
window, yeah.
I haven't had to turn anybody away yet. I don't know really what we're going to do with,
Yeah.
Turn why?
you know, I don't know.
I mean, it's gone to the point that's, the fines on a lot of the stores, they're doing the same thing now, that
I don't know.
they are no mask, you can't come in,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I've always thought that was a lot like no shirt, no shoes, no mask, no,
That's
no
right.
service.
That's
you know.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
You will comply.
That's right. Exactly.
On to B, new town office.
Well, I put that on today because Nick just shot me an email and said, where are we at? And I said, well, we're basically where we were at 2 weeks ago, but I don't know exactly. We should probably be working on
What about our quotes
quotes as in,
from the contractor?
I haven't got any quotes,
That would be, I would think would be the next.
Right.
but
That's
I
right.
don't
And I
know
thought
if
that's
if
what
we
we.
don't have an,
Gotta have a square foot or something.
I was
to
gonna say,
give
if I don't
them
have
a
much
quote.
for a floor plan or a square
Right.
footage or,
You gotta at least have a building size.
yeah.
Well, I thought we kind of agreed on a size with a library and a size without, and so that we could at least kind of ballpark this. That's what we did with the workshop.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, and,
So are you saying that if we have a library, we have a downstairs, so we're doing, I didn't know if or if we don't have a library, are we doing just the upstairs, or are we shrinking the upstairs?
Well, I
I'm
think
looking for
we,
some guidance so
I
that
think we
can
were
go out and get-
of the opinion that we didn't need a second floor if there was gonna be no library. We should be able to accommodate everything on one floor.
right, right.
If there is going to be a library, then we were going to have a second floor. But that meant you might not have to pay for a walkout basement. You might not have to pay for parking in the rear. So those things would be significant. At least that's the way I remember it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
may be able to get, even doing what you're saying, even keeping the basement, but not a walkout basement, you still may be cheaper if you can reduce your square footage. So if you don't have the library, and you have a room upstairs that was gonna be your storage area or whatever, if you could make your footprint smaller and move that to this basement, it may be cheaper.
I would be looking for direction on that.
Yeah.
Hard to imagine that would be cheaper, but it could be, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what they said when they were here, you're paying for a 5-foot frost wall, it's 3 foot for a foundation.
I sent everybody a picture of that,
Yes,
that-
yes,
that building looked more than adequate.
yeah.
There's
The-
no
what
way
was
that
it,
building was-
Benton?
That was
Or-
Benton.
Benton, yeah.
There's no way that building was 300 grand.
No way.
And that was on a slab.
And, okay, it was not 2 stories by
No,
any means,
No,
right?
they contoured all their ramps with asphalt.
Yeah, I saw
It
that.
was
Yep.
simple.
That
It
was,
didn't look that big to me. I
No.
mean, pictures are deceiving, but I wouldn't say it was much more than 24 by 40 max.
right, yeah,
I
well,
mean,
because I was looking at the size of the door, and, you know, door, standard size door, and then you say, okay,
Yep.
it was 3 doors across, so that's.
Kinda what I did.
Yeah, that's,
They're,
it was not very big.
Their population is almost triple ours.
Wow. Wow.
And not that it is relevant, but their library policy is, it's free for every household that wants one. One per household, up to $40. So that's what Benton does, and probably most people go to Waterville. Maybe Fairfield, I don't know, maybe Fairfield.
So they give them a voucher?
You bring in a receipt, they
Ah.
pay you back.
That's.
But I looked at that building, it looked like a very nice building.
Yep.
What you didn't see in that picture is they have an electronic sign, which is also kinda nice. They don't have any fancy foundation or, you know, it's just, so,
Yeah,
I would, in fact, I would show a builder that and say, what can you build that for? I think you'd be surprised,
yeah.
but we
I'm
gotta,
saying, I mean, when we first started this, if you're only talking a town office and nothing else, you're really talking nothing bigger than, not a whole lot bigger than your garage, I mean,
correct, you need a place for these meetings,
yeah,
which is
Right,
this many people.
correct.
right. Yep. Yep.
In this room, if we built something new, you could use this as a double dip room. I mean, the office staff, there's nothing wrong with them like they are now. I mean, they use this for the coffee pot, the microwave. You could do that similar thing. I mean,
Yep.
And even if you're gonna add 600 feet for a library, so you take that exact same building and now you have a basement, I still don't think it's 300 grand.
No,
me neither.
no.
So I think we're running out of time to get numbers together, although, based on the last topic, our annual town meeting may not be,
Exactly.
may not be imminent.
That's right.
Cause without an actual town meeting, a real, like an old fashioned town meeting, we're not gonna be able to advance any of these things.
Right, a virtual town meeting or anything like
Oh.
that, first of all, we're not gonna do that.
You're
Well,
basically,
that's kind of what we need to talk about when we.
Right, right. But I
When we
mean,
get
you're not
there, what are we
gonna,
doing?
well, it's part of the whole process, my guess is if nothing changes, although I believe it won't, they're gonna have the same statute that they gave us last year.
That's
You're gonna
right.
be able to roll next year's budget without a vote.
jeez, yeah.
I mean, we had a vote, cause we were early, but you didn't need one,
Right.
but.
Right.
But we need to continue to prepare as though
We're going.
we're going to have a meeting, so that if we can, we'll be ready.
Right,
I think I will talk to Nick directly tomorrow. I'll talk with, somebody like Dustin Lander's size, and then I'll talk to some bigger, construction outfits and see.
yeah. I mean, I don't think, if we're building something Benton size or that type of thing,
Probably.
do not need a big, right?
Just doesn't seem
No,
possible.
No, no,
No.
uh-uh.
I'm just, the only thing is right now, it's gonna extrapolate it up quite a bit, the cost of
Yeah.
material.
Yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
And one thing, this
But
message,
it's still high if you're doing the basement as well, I mean,
well, and I think part of the reason we haven't had a lot of pressure on us is because of all of the mess that everything is in.
100%.
It's bought us time, so, you know, whether this gets built in 21 or 22 or 23 probably isn't as critical. is as much as we just pick a path.
Right, right, that's a good, yep,
So.
It'd be nice to have a path laid out really good and seeing it moving, that would be
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
nice.
yeah,
But it's been, we can't have workshops. It'd be great to have workshops where we put up the renderings, we answer questions, we
Right.
can't do any of that, so.
You wouldn't dare to try that even with 50?
I don't know.
do they specify, well, I don't wanna get into, cause I'll read that, but do they specify the size of the room if you're gonna have 50, is it,
I don't think so.
Indoor.
Indoor gathering, period.
that's interesting.
But I think I suspect that we'd have a significant percentage of people who wish they could participate but would be comfortable.
Correct,
Right.
I'm with you there, I
Yep.
fully agree.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is kind of defeating the purpose.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, and this vaccine could change everything, but that's probably,
could.
full rollout is probably more than 6 months,
Yeah.
as far as people in Sagerville getting this thing.
yeah, yeah,
Unless you're a healthcare worker or something like that.
yeah.
So maybe maybe we'll end up having a meeting in the fall. I mean, I don't know how it might play out, but.
Huh. Hey,
I'm hoping things are gonna be better. I think right now it's really, you got the flu season and everything else, so it's just adding to it all. I'm hoping maybe start getting into winter, maybe it'll mellow out a little bit, but
I don't know, none of us know.
Not really any reason to expect it to, other than this vaccine.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't appear that we're getting more comfortable with it.
no, right now we're getting a lot of false positive cases because a first pass test is throwing them as a positive, and then they go to finish the test, then it's coming out as an influenza.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of that happening.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
there are two basic types of tests, I
Yeah,
forget their names, and one is
it
really
quick? Is it
almost worthless,
Right,
and one is pretty good.
right, right,
Well, the one that's worthless tests influenza and COVID is in the same category that they're testing for. So
Okay.
you'll get a positive out of that if you have either or.
but if you do get a negative, it is a positive negative, right?
Correct.
Right, so it's
Get
the
a
false
false
positive is
Correct.
what's the dangerous, cause then you have to go on to have the
Yep.
secondary test.
Elon Musk last weekend was feeling
I don't know
terrible.
about that,
He bought 4 tests, 2 were positive, 2 were negative.
but they were all the quick tests, they were all the.
I don't know which test, it was a test that we have been using, I don't know which test it
Right,
was.
right, yeah,
Antigen test, something like that, but anyway.
yeah, yeah. I know.
But the technology is racing, there's another pharmaceutical company that's about to have a test that you take in your home, it's gonna cost you $60, and you will have an answer in 30 minutes.
Wow,
And that's, then you could have a meeting where, maybe people arrive and take the test. They're not gonna, maybe they would pay 60, I don't know, but
I don't know,
that's coming
yeah.
right around the
It'd
corner.
be good, because as far as right now in the area, I know I'm having a lot of people that are out anywhere from 2 to 5 days from the time to get them a test and get them results back.
Right, so,
It's crazy.
unless you sit in your house for 5 days, your 5-day-old test doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
And if you're sitting at home with your whole family,
Yeah.
Right, unless they're all there.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I know of a family whose father is very concerned about all this, and he wants all of his loved ones to take a test before they come for Thanksgiving.
yeah,
It's like, so, are they
Yeah.
gonna take it on Monday and put it's just,
Stay there?
it's not relevant.
no, it's not, that's the thing, and I told you about our friend that got very, very, very sick. And she took a leave of absence, she's an anesthesiologist, took a leave of absence because she has a young family. And did not want to take the risk at all. It was at home and is fully aware of how to prevent all this. And she got sick, she has no idea how she got COVID and got very, very, very sick. So who knows?
Well, we've been dealing with the flu for generations, we never ever have these conversations. Of course you
know.
can get sick, right?
Right,
It
yeah,
happens. I don't think this is a lot different.
yeah.
It gets people sick. So anyway, we'll see
Alright.
what happens. We're kind of, but the numbers would be great, as far as,
Do we know what it costs for a membership in Guilford Library? I'm just curious about that.
I had those numbers. It was 20 for 15 for Dexter, 20 for Dover, and 20 for Guilford, I
Okay.
think.
I was just curious, so you mentioned that town chart allowed 40, so I was, would
Yeah.
that work, if you had that, something similar, would that work here? But by the sounds of it, we had 20, you could do whatever you wanted to do.
Right.
well, and I didn't share this, but I spoke with the library, my mother's president, and so I asked for that. We were having a little bit of difficulty getting the number of patrons.
Yes,
And so they did that research, and based on the cards, she estimates between 50 and 60, so roughly 55. So there's your number.
patrons that
Regularly.
matriculate, or whatever the word is,
Unique members,
period.
Period.
yep.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what
How
level of
many?
participation there is,
Right.
but,
Right,
What's the number?
it works out to be about somewhere between $350 and $400 per patron, is what our budget is.
wow, wow.
Do you have to even be a patron to use the computers?
Don't know about that.
Because like, I mean, I used to use the computer and you don't have to even belong to the library. You just wander in and sign up and.
And the book, it was interesting, I didn't know this, but it's in the town, it was in the last town report, so the number of loans, I mean, whether they're books or movies,
Right?
was like 1,100.
Oh,
So,
oh,
I mean, again, you divide that out, you could almost, it'd be almost the same to have a person come in and say, Bridie, order a book on Amazon, when it gets here, we just give it to you. Because it's like $25, $30 per loaning.
oh my gosh. Huh, that was in the annual report?
Yeah,
The town report,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
under the library,
yes.
oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
the patrons were not, but the number, I think it was like 1180 or 1150 or something like that.
Oh, boy.
But now at least we have a way to quantify,
Right, what we're talking about,
right, right.
yep.
Because for us, because we are so small, the $20,000 is quite a bit of money.
Right,
Well, that's what, I mean, sitting here, you listen to all these numbers, and you start doing the math and how you get to where we're spending,
you can't ever get there.
forget about the town office. Doesn't even, we're in the budget season, I mean, I think we got a different conversation we need to talk about first.
Yeah, about the library.
Well, at $20,000 is actually more than $250,000.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
And I was talking to Terry about it, I said, you know what, basically, every 5 years you can get a free snow plowing out of it. You know, I mean, basically your entire plow contract,
Yeah,
that's how significant that little, it seems like a small bill, but for us, it's actually a pretty good size item.
yeah,
20 grand, we'd never have to worry about roadside mowing and brush cutting. I mean, if you just move that money over to that bucket, that's it done forever.
No, and the neat thing is, you literally could say to every single citizen, you have free membership for the rest of your life, and any of the surrounding libraries will pay for it.
right.
And the town would still be way ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that would require an ordinance, but,
20 times 55, I mean, that's,
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, exactly.
that's a slight difference.
So,
Now, and I don't know how many of these, were children,
oh, okay,
because children are already enrolled because of the SAD, so it could even be less than 55.
I wonder how many of our residents already use the other libraries instead of this one anyway.
that's a good question too.
I always used multiple libraries.
But I'm just, you know,
I don't use libraries at all at the moment, but.
Right,
No, but I'm just saying
right.
that,
Well,
you
that's
know-
the other, that's the other point.
we're
Our-
spending 20 grand for 55 people, but is there 60 people that are going to Guilford or going to,
Right.
they're fitting that bill on their own, so
Right.
if that be the case, you would actually, we'd be doing a better service to our entire town if we did do this,
Yeah. So how do we advance that?
Well, I think it's, that's a good question, because do you, I mean, when it comes to budget time, we can simply put it on the budget that way and have this discussion, and, you know, I don't think there's much anybody can do about it. I'm not sure that's the way we wanna do it. Ideally, again, you could have workshops where you discuss this issue, so people become informed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I mean, budgetary's coming up, they're gonna give us a number. Just like they do every year. If it comes in, that number comes in at 20,000.
It will come in, that's the salary,
Right,
so that's not going, that's just the salary.
I know.
So that's what the number's gonna be, or 19, whatever it was, but, yeah.
But when that happens, that's the time we gotta get ready for budget, so that's the time we can really, I think we can use that to start the conversation.
yeah, okay.
With them, with the budget committee, and at town meeting.
Mhm.
I mean, if the budget committee recommends X, doesn't mean we have to support it.
That's right, that's right. Okay. Well, we definitely wanna keep that on our radar.
Yeah, I always have trouble with how you make these sort of changes
Yeah.
at town meeting.
Yeah,
And maybe the change needs to be made before that, maybe that's, because then you don't propose. But,
right, we would make a separate proposal, and so it would say select board,
You could do it either way, but if you have it as a line item, it's 20,000, and the budget committee recommends and the board doesn't, and then that gives, and if you wanna put a narrative why, like we've done in the past,
yeah,
but then that opens that up for conversation and discussion, is it
at
where
town meeting. at
all of
town
these numbers, or these numbers could be in the town report, I mean, or however we wanna do it.
Yep,
We could get some information out there beforehand, we could talk about it on the line item.
it is a separate item, it is a separate warrant.
yes,
Okay,
yeah,
so
it
it's
is.
not, it's
But
not,
if you don't put the 20 out there, then there's not much they can do.
Correct.
And you've made the decision for them, or, you know,
Correct.
so,
That's why it's, I don't
yeah.
know.
yeah,
Then we haven't even gotten into the conversation of how that decision would impact your new building. And your savings there could be in the tens of thousands,
alright,
Yeah.
yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So, all of that is. But this conversation regarding the library is worth having whether we build a new building or not.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
I think this needs to be discussed and figured out one way or the other, right through the budgetary process.
Yeah.
Because the numbers just doesn't,
It's rich.
Yeah,
Okay, appointments?
Ron Smith passed away, and he was the president of the water board. I've reached out to a couple of people to replace him, because the water board is going through their budget season, and and would like him replaced sooner rather than later. I've gotten one no and one maybe, so I'm kind of holding out on the
who's your maybe?
Rick Hall.
Okay.
So I'm hoping, should give him 2 or 3 days. By the end of the week, I'm hoping to call him and have somebody.
Rick is on the sewer board.
Rick is on the sewer board.
and that's different from the water board?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
the water board is a 6-year term, and you appoint them. The sewer board is a 3-year term, and we elect them at town meeting. They are separate entities, but there's no conflict apparently to having
Okay, be on both.
somebody be on both. Guilford has at least 2 people that are on both
Okay.
boards.
Do
There
they
might
pay a
even be some-
stipend? How do,
They get paid,
is it through the water board, sewer board though, that pays? this?
sewer board
Sewer-
pays, I know, $50 a meeting, I was told. So I assume water board is probably comparable.
Would be rich.
Would be a pay raise.
But the sewer board pays $50 a meeting up to $500.
Oh.
They expect you to go to every meeting once a month, but they only pay you for So it's more like 25.
Right, right.
School board, I think school board pays 25, I mean.
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, they pay regardless, and they send you to a lot of committee meetings, so
Yep.
you could
And
be,
you still, all meetings are considered, so,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can do it right.
Yeah.
I would really like, I'm kinda hopeful that Rick would want it, because I can see where it would be very good for the community to have more members of the water and sewer board working together.
Mhm.
Cause there's a lot of common things that both groups are doing, that they could share resources and save everybody a lot of money, so.
More continuity between
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
I think some like board members would help that out.
So we'll wait and see.
Okay,
Okay.
I don't know if they need, if he says yes, if we'll need a meeting to appoint, or,
I would think if we appoint, you're gonna have to have it,
I think they want some.
we can't appoint in advance.
No, no,
You holler, I mean, whatever, it'll only take a
Yeah.
few seconds,
right,
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 come in and do it.
right.
so that is the plan there.
And, oh, sorry, the budget committee, you're in
I'm
good
working
shape?
on it. I have 2 yeses, 3 people who won't return my calls.
Still? That
Yeah,
same
which
three?
kind of says,
Jeez.
yeah. But I've got 2 long-term members who are not coming
Right,
back.
right.
Um,
Huh. Huh, huh, huh. Maybe lean and mean.
Well, you told me if I had 3. I've got 2 definites, so all I have to do is nail somebody else's.
Right. Okay.
And I had one good suggestion, so I'm gonna approach that person and see if they're interested.
Okay, is that it with appointments?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know about the water board, because,
Yeah, like Dale said, there's no reason we can't have a quick meeting and
Yep.
appoint and be done. Annual town meeting,
in terms of the executive order, I was just wondering what you guys were thinking in terms of when we were going to have town meeting, and I haven't called Grace Bible yet. Looks to be our only choice at this point.
My thought is I would schedule it the way you wanna do it,
Yep.
forget about the order, and we'll worry about it when we get closer.
Yeah, I
If we
agree.
need to postpone, we need to postpone.
Yeah.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
got a feeling, like I said, that the statute from last year is probably gonna be in place as you go into 21 for January and February and March.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that if the vaccine works and everybody's comfortable, that we can't have, these substantive meetings about issues later in the year.
Yeah.
But I agree, I think we just plow ahead,
But,
You got a
yeah.
plan, I mean,
yeah.
Because if not, then we're gonna be scrambling around. I mean.
yeah, I don't wanna go the other way, I don't wanna say,
No,
oh, it's
no.
an executive order, we're not gonna be able to do it, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, hopefully it gets better, let's wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just,
I have a pre-audit scheduled next Monday, this coming Monday. And then I have the audit scheduled mid-January. And so we could be ready sometime in February.
One thing to think about, is how do you limit, do you say the first 50 and the rest of you are out?
That'd be a good MMA question.
I mean, that doesn't mean,
I don't
you don't
know.
get to vote on the budget because you were 51?
It's too late. And there are one.
Well, I think what we'd have to do is if it's still at 50, come mid-February, or a couple weeks before, we would have to push it out.
My
No.
guess is if it's at 50,
yeah,
it's just a guess,
yeah.
that the statute will still be in place, that you could, because, well, I'm glad we're talking about this, because now if the statute is what it is, I would pass the budget without having the meeting. I'd just use last year's budget. And then we will have a meeting when we can have a meeting.
Right.
We got under the wire last year.
Correct.
We had as many people as wanted to come, everybody got to participate, everybody got to vote. It already looks like that's not gonna happen unless there's a cure.
Right.
Now it's gonna be limited to 50, some people aren't gonna get to vote, some people aren't gonna get to speak. So now as we're talking about, I'm thinking, if the statute allows us to use last year's budget,
We'll just go.
I would just go with
Just
that,
go with it,
because that's legal.
right.
Nobody gets shut out.
Yeah.
And then when we can all, get together again, we do that.
Fully agree, that's where we're at in February, and that's what we can do.
Yeah,
Right.
But I'm saying, as of today, we don't know any of that, I would plan.
Well, I think the
as normal.
statute is still in place, and we do know there's 50 limit as of today. That we do know.
We don't know if the statute's good as of January 1st.
No, but I think right now, it's easy enough to check, but
Yeah.
I think right now, if a town had their meeting, they would be under those rules. Now, I don't know what happens January 2nd.
That's what I don't know either.
So we need to know that.
But either way, it doesn't matter, I would still plan business as normal. If something happens and that's still in place and we can't have the meeting and that's what we need to do, then let's do it.
right, but Mike, when you first started this conversation, were you saying if we were to have a meeting, that the first 50 people that show up can come in and we're having?
But that's I don't like that.
Right,
No.
okay, that's what
I wasn't
you're-
aware, I'm thinking, it was like,
Yeah,
hold
it's
it,
like,
are
wait a
we
minute.
really gonna tell number 51 and 52, you don't get to?
We can't,
No, you can't.
right, I mean, we'd have to.
We'd have to,
Right.
which would, then that would kind of impact whether I'd even wanna do it.
Right,
I don't even know,
you,
I don't think we can do that anyway, can you?
I mean, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be,
It's not a public meeting.
Yeah, I don't.
that's right, that's right,
I think it's a really good question for MMA,
yes,
because right now it looks like they put us in a box,
Yeah.
which it appears they're pretty comfortable doing, so.
right.
So I guess
Well,
I guess we've
yeah,
talked
that's
this
a good
full circle, we don't know what we can do yet.
No, I just wanted to bring it up because
No, I think it's great, cause we just,
that is the season and.
But then do you go ahead and then all of it, just, and again, maybe I'll get myself ahead of myself, but then we would use our budget that we have this year, next year, and forget about, we're gonna have the budget committee, they're gonna do their thing, we're gonna have this working, how does that work? Then when we do have our annual meeting, do you pass the new budget for the rest of the year?
well, if you passed it, you've passed it. In other words, if state statute says you can use the old budget, and some towns did this,
Okay,
you don't have to have a follow-up to confirm it,
Original of the budget.
it's
That's
done,
it for
It's
that
done.
year.
it's done.
what did
It's
they?
legal too, it's
Did those towns have annual meetings then?
some.
I mean,
A lot of them did have a meeting, and
Which-
I'm with Mike, you gotta have a reason there,
I
I mean,
mean, that doesn't make sense, right?
No, I agree,
I mean, there's no need for a meeting,
No.
there's no discussion, it's the old budget.
it
correct.
all depends on where you're at financially. Now, if you ended up in a
Okay.
situation where you had something you needed to do,
Gotcha,
Then you
last
got a
year's
problem.
budget didn't have
Okay.
enough money,
I see.
or you screwed up last year,
Sure,
and it was too
okay.
tight,
I see, okay.
and you need
You're
to,
having a special kind of.
you needed, well, I mean, if you had we're probably one of the only few towns around that usually our budget drops a little bit.
Right,
Most others goes the other way, so they really wanted that other meeting, cause they're asking for more money.
I see,
Right.
okay.
And you could have had a one-off in 19, maybe you agreed to build a brand-new building.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah,
you,
now that's. in
now it
your
would be
budget.
up to the selectmen to say, okay, we're gonna cut that out of the new budget.
Right.
Because it's not needed again.
Right,
And I'm sure they did,
yeah,
but it is a leap of faith.
yeah,
But it was all sanctioned by the legislature, so.
right,
Or if you had all kinds of money in one project, but you didn't put anything in paving last year,
right,
cause you wanted to get your dirt roads done, and, or, you know what I mean? You-
Yep.
You might have the right amount of money, but
but in the
it's not in the
wrong
wrong
slots.
buckets.
Right, right,
So-
gotcha, okay, all right, it really is,
And then we were all concerned about revenue sharing and how that might,
yeah.
I think that's still a jump ball coming into 21.
Okay.
Nobody really got impacted significantly for 20,
Yeah.
but,
No, I bet it's coming though.
yeah. So, and how do you adjust for that if you can't have a meeting?
Right.
Ah.
And that's kind of the bad part, if you just take on next year's, and you can't have a meeting. 'cause-
That's right, yikes. Okay,
So we have a number of
right,
open-ended
right,
concerns.
But to me, as far as the budget process and what we need to do to be ready,
keep trudging
I think we
forward.
should still, you do your audit when you need to.
Yep, yep.
You schedule your budget committee to get your
Yep.
budget in order. I mean,
Go through the
we know we
steps.
may not be able to do it in February, but I think we need to follow all the same process to get us there.
Yeah, I think so too,
And then once we get close,
Yep.
say in January, then we'll have answers to all these questions and can make that decision. Do we just take last year's budget if we can, or what do we do? Well,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Laura's already working on town report, I'm working on the budget and the budget committee. We got audit and pre-audit scheduled, and I think that way at least we're on track.
Very good.
So you just covered 7.
Well, mowing contracts, I sent out for cemeteries, for, all the miscellaneous town plus the ball field, and I didn't send out brush cutting because we signed down for a 3-year contract with Aggressive Cuts, so I'm waiting to see what I get back for,
we what?
quotes. We signed a 3-year,
We did?
didn't we? I think we did.
I don't think we can do 3 years.
You can't do that.
Well, we did it at the town meeting, they gave
Oh.
us approval,
Oh, for roadside mowing.
roadside mowing.
Okay, you said
No,
brush.
You did say brush cutting.
Yeah, you
Not-
said, I
You gave me
know.
half the-
Nobody's doing that, no.
I know.
Roadside mowing, yes,
Okay.
mowing contracts.
All right,
That we did do.
Yes.
Yes.
I was totally different thought process, sorry.
I was going with you.
Sorry, my term.
But then when she said aggressive cuts, it's like, okay, wait a minute.
We'll stop over.
Well, no, I kept going because that's brush cutting too.
Yeah, he's doing it all.
The mowing, yeah,
It
yeah,
might be open to a 3-year contract with this guy though.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Well, so town report, we did pre-audit and mowing contracts, so road commissioner. As you guys all know, he's been working on the brush cutting for, week and a half, 2 weeks now. He's going to get all of Silver's Mills that we had, looked at. He finally did stop in and we went to see exactly where stop and start were, and he agreed. We looked at Flanders. He seems, and he's thoroughly up to date on what we're doing there, in terms of, when you get to houses, in terms of the part where, between both ends of the Gray Road, I don't think it's going to be an issue. He's going to do half a mile of French's Mills cleanup, touch up from the last time, you guys.
Which end are you starting on?
He's gonna do a little hit and miss. He agreed to do, he said it's no more than half a mile, and so he's going to do.
Oh, so he's gonna just, not one continuous.
Well, there's a section, closer to Silver's Mills end that was, had a bunch of.
On top of the hill? Or,
Down the other side.
there's a couple of trees that have, basically the wind has, they're leaning over, but.
Yeah, that corner, there's a section where there's a lot of.
That's what we did, isn't it?
Yes, we did do it all. We did the whole thing.
He knew you did the whole thing, he said it needed just some touch-ups, and so he was just going to kind of do the touch-ups at no more than half a mile. And I had him go out and look at the Townhouse Road, because it's out where he's at. If you guys want to approve that, he will do about a mile there.
I'd approve anything you tell me we got money to
I
spend.
just say, that Dale just.
If you've
I
got
totally
10
agree
grand
with that.
left that you're not gonna spend, I would give him 10 miles of road.
If you've got, yeah, if you
you've
could find
got
10
50.
miles and 10 grand, I'd let him do it.
Okay.
And I wouldn't worry about, I'll tell you, and I know, I sat here and did this on Silver's Mills about, we shouldn't do this, we gotta do that, but I went down and I looked at that, and I got thinking about it. There's 2 or 3 spots, they're not very big, fully agree, that are gonna need to be done. But by the time you hire a contractor to go out there and do
yeah.
those 2 or 3 spots and they chip it,
Yeah.
what are you gonna have invested in that?
Well,
Are
it
you
sounds
just
like,
better off to just say, I want you to do this road start to finish, and then he can mow
it sounds like he's doing the spot thing on the French's
it?
Mills
I
Road.
know.
Right. He is, I don't know why.
Which I'd do another half, if he wants to do another half mile on the Silver's Mills Road to finish that one up, cause it doesn't even need a half mile. That's the same thought process.
Correct.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, if he's willing to do touch-up on the rest of that.
He,
I mean, it
Silver
says-
Hills, he went and looked at it and said, nothing needs to be,
You
No,
know how
there's-
many swampy acres there?
It's literally, it's like 25 yards.
It's not that much.
But it's like Flanders Hill, most of that is pasture, but what isn't pasture needs to be done.
Correct.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
I mean, when we first talked about this, it's, well, when you actually see and what he's doing and what you're gonna do afterwards,
Well, and if you look what I
It's
spent
worth
on cleanup this spring, and how short a space I got done for the amount of money I got done, it's like, this is way cheaper and more efficient and.
Good.
no, he's a good guy, there's no question about that.
and even what he's doing around the residents, I don't know what he's doing different than, but you can see, if he's close to, if I had a whatever on my lawn, I would let him take care of it.
Uh-huh,
Because he's going that much slower when he's there, and it's really,
I think that's the whole.
it's cutting it up really nice, it's not a big eyesore when he's done.
yeah.
Now, like, the stretch underneath the power lines where he was trying to reach out in there and he couldn't get to the stump,
Yeah, it's
so
a little
it's
chippy.
bringing
little
his
ragged.
around,
Yeah.
those are kinda raggedy looking.
That's fine.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
that
that's
other side
understandable.
is,
But come spring, you never know.
no, you ain't gonna know since spring.
No,
No, by the middle of June, you won't know.
nope,
No, I think the key difference is he's willing to take the time to do it in a way that is kind of gentle and thorough. And most anybody else is, they're looking at the clock.
Whack it.
And
Well,
let's
I think the
not-
other thing is, I really think he's looking at doing this, I wanna take an extra 5 minutes now, so it's not staving up my mower when you have me come mow it next year.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And I think
yep,
that's the bigger-
good. Yep,
So,
well, good, excellent.
As far as the money goes, is there anything else that you need as far as gravel? Are we done with gravel?
We could do some more if I could get somebody.
Because we haven't backfilled the new road on East Sangerville, all those areas that, you know,
Yeah,
4 to 6.
yeah.
We never did Hartford
I
Lane.
can get that done, I don't, Hartford Lane,
And Dale and I have talked about targeting some of these mailboxes that are, I mean, now they're like,
that would be a wicked good project, and it's gonna be pricier than a load of gravel, but if we had a contractor that's willing to go around with a dump truck and and a skid steer, I noticed it when, I mean, this was almost 2 years ago, but if you come up through Newtville from the Dexter side coming in, right after Swampy Acres, don't go off that hot top, I mean, that's a drop. So, I mean, we've still got you could put out a lot of yards of gravel by getting those edges
just bringing your
down.
shoulder up.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of mailboxes that are they're that deep now. When
Wow.
the mailman's been pulling over all the time to deliver the mail or deliver the newspaper, and
Some
that's-
have inches of standing water in them.
wow, yeah. that's
And
not-
I mean, really, it's a half a yard of gravel, you back over it with the dump truck and you go, but it's,
Yeah.
we
I
need
do
somebody to
herbs
do it.
every day, and I'll tell you, don't put your car in there. I mean, his is that deep.
Yeah.
But it's right on the edge of our hot top.
Yeah, and so next,
So all it's gonna do, once
Yep.
that keeps going,
Shift
is dirt's
off
gonna
the-
erode out
yep.
underneath and hot top.
Water creeps under the road there.
yeah, and then yep.
It's worth, to me, I think it's worth the money to have somebody go around and fill those in to keep,
No
so it
question.
doesn't kill our road. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
and it's within it's our right of way, I mean,
Yep.
we're supposed to maintain that, so.
so we've gotta find somebody to do that. We gotta,
But between that and just that, I'm sure up through East Sangerville, that needs to be done,
There's a lot of it that needs to be done,
yeah.
cause that was brought up a lot, we
so.
reclaimed that,
Yep.
so.
And with plowing coming, I'm sure the guys would appreciate that, to get that taken care of, so I'm dropping off
yeah.
that edge. So. But yeah, I mean, as far as
Can you put out gravel once the ground's frozen?
long as gravel ain't froze.
Okay. And then the other thing is patch. We got, between your house and Brockway,
Yeah, there's those spots that
mess.
got cut off.
yeah,
Silver's Mills, think there's a place out on East Sangerville. I got a complaint about Goff Road.
That's bad. I don't know.
I don't know if I really even know
I was-
exactly where our line is to what's ours and what's ours when you go
That's,
through there.
I think you get to the 90 and it becomes ours. I mean, right, you go and then it's
It's
a
gotta be
90.
hours before the 90.
Well, no, I think that's Dexter.
No, because that's where that land was, remember that trailer camp
Yeah.
thing?
You're right.
All of those
Well,
are-
there must be an angle there because the Sangerville line is well
Somewhere-
behind that
somewhere
brown
right
house.
there.
Where is it?
Somewhere there's, in there's a corner
I
where
don't know where
Dexter,
that is.
Parkman, Sangerville, and
Correct.
Cambridge?
But I think Dexter is in the beginning of the road.
Dexter is, that brown house that's kind of run down,
That's in Dexter.
that's in Dexter. My cousin used to live there.
Snows Mills, 23. Jackman Corner, Goff Road.
Goff Road. The big brown
It's
house
right
in the
there.
corner, that's gotta be Sangerville.
That's it.
No, that's
The
Dexter.
beginning of that road sways to Dexter, and then when the road swings back to the right just a little bit before the 90.
So it's dancing back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the 90 goes to Parkman?
Nope, that's ours.
Okay.
It goes out there quite a ways, it almost,
Where, is this the 90?
Yeah, it's a lot further than I ever thought it was.
Yeah.
I always thought.
I'm almost thinking that's like near the power line.
It's pretty ugly road.
It's ours, we got quite a bit up through there, really.
Yeah, but I mean, is this in fact Dexter's or is that considered?
No, that is
That's
Dexter.
Dexter.
It is.
Yeah.
This
The line goes behind that brown house.
Yeah, that little bit from there in is Dexter.
So it's 0.2 miles about, less
Yeah, a
than
little
that.
less.
When
Yeah.
you first turn onto the Goff Road.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
neat.
it's like
Yeah,
one
really
resident.
Noticed that.
But the Goff Road is bad.
Well, probably all those first houses in the beginning when you come in, those were probably all Dexter.
And I know the first one is.
You can't do hot patch now, you're gonna have to do cold patch?
I don't know if you can get it. You can
I
get it.
don't know if I get it, well, I haven't been, I'll go to him.
You ought to, I don't remember what it's called, but you ought to call Jeff, Libby.
Mm-hmm.
He uses, I don't know what the heck the name of it is, it's not regular coal patch. And
It's just pressure sensitive.
I'm assuming,
Because this Crick Wright makes an asphalt patch that I've used personally.
yeah,
It's really amazing stuff. It's expensive. But I put down a piece of OSB and drive on it with my tractor and it's cured immediately. It pressure
Oh,
cures it.
interesting.
Yeah.
but this stuff that Jeff used, I'm pretty sure, I thought he said it was cheaper than coal patch, but it's like moisture, it's not as susceptible to that. I mean, he was.
That's this stuff
The
you can set it
moisture,
up
the
in
road
water.
was wet, there was water in a hole, throw it right in it, doesn't
Oh,
matter.
wow.
It'll bond.
Wow.
Yep,
And I
yep.
think that's the,
You drive over with a pickup truck and it's, Done.
That may be, it may be, but although
Might
you're
be the
saying
same
it's.
thing.
yeah,
I
I buy in
don't know.
50-pound bags. You probably can get, I don't know if you can get a truckload of it.
oh yeah, I mean, he had a loader full, I mean,
Yeah.
when I see
Wow.
him doing Oak Street.
Very consistent aggregate, almost looks like the size of corn.
Huh,
But what
Wow.
impressed me the most was the water issue, you know?
yeah.
And it's supposed to bond that well, I mean, a lot of coal patch doesn't bond very good, so.
Wow. So Mike, when you buy a 50-pound bag, it's dry. You have
Well,
to mix
it's,
it.
you know, it's almost like molasses, not that viscous, but it's tarry feeling, but it's very consistent aggregate, like I said, it's like it's corn. And it's
Okay.
black, and that goes into the hole, I put a board on it, drive on it with my tractor,
it's-
and it's solid. You
Wow.
won't pick it up with your plow blade or anything
Wow.
like that. It's pretty cool.
That's quick. What is-
Quick right, they also do cements and things
Okay.
like that, you can get it right at Home
I've-
Depot.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've
I'll
seen.
Jeff tomorrow and then,
Yeah, I have no idea, I just remember this spring he was using that, and we were talking about coal patch, oh, no, use this stuff, so.
Huh,
I don't remember what that was called.
okay, that's great. I like that.
I noticed, Public Works in Bangor was using it on some of their parking lots, and I think it was mostly because of water. With water, they don't have to wait for it to dry
Yeah, you'll
out.
have to find that good sunny day.
Exactly.
Right. And it's not temperature sensitive, it's pressure sensitive.
Correct.
Huh, cool. That's interesting.
But yeah, as far as brush cutting, you don't really need us to, I mean,
Right.
you do what you need to, as far as I think, right?
Right, yeah.
well, it may be that his time is what cuts us off probably.
Well, I said something to him one morning before I went to work about it, and I said, geez, I said, how busy is, cause I was just curious what his schedule was like. He says, I'm booked solid. I said, so you don't have any time left? Nope. I said, so if we wanna do a little more, he goes, that machine's in Sangerville. He says, they don't leave till Sangerville's done, so.
Oh, good for
Whatever
him.
you need to do, we're gonna do it.
Just don't let them leave.
Don't let him
Right,
leave.
right.
But he did say
That's very-
that if we have too much for him, he will figure out a way to get back, so, I mean,
He also has some health issues, so.
Yeah.
Actually Sunday, I was outside working when he got done, and he was pretty tired. So we talked quite a bit Sunday when we left, but.
Huh,
Yeah, we'll see what we can
Yep.
make happen.
Okay, on to correspondence?
oh, okay. The grading, did the grading get done?
Yeah, I did. I had compliments on it.
They got some grading done,
Not all the dirt roads.
I just put a call out to Zach earlier in the day, and I got a text back saying, I've gone hunting, I'll call you later.
Who did the grading? Oh, Harry?
Herrick's.
Okay. Okay.
So I wanted to make sure for exactly what they got done, because I got a small bill, and if that's all they got done, we probably have some issues, but
Okay. Because the beginning of Thomas Road is really bad.
okay.
Big, huge potholes. But I didn't know whether that was slated to be done
Should be.
this fall.
They were
It's a
going to
dirt
get
road.
done whatever they could get done.
Okay.
I don't know, that's why I was checking in with Zach. What did you get done? What didn't you get done?
Okay.
What of, you know,
Anderson, between the ditching that they did down through there, then the grading afterwards, that looks.
and I had the culvert unplugged, so that should be good to go. for
When
a
did you
while.
have that done?
Yesterday.
Ah.
It's probably plugged again.
What, with Beaver?
Yesterday, the day before.
Oh.
Did you
Yeah.
call the guy from Dexter?
I didn't call to get a trapper in there, no.
I would.
Immediately, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the problem is, and I don't know the rules, and I'm almost to the point of unofficially not caring, but the way that is right there, when they unplug the culvert, all that plug comes out,
Right.
and it lays there. Well, if you drive down there, it's worth a drive, because you can see everything's been unplugged in the last 10 years. It's all laying right there.
Oh.
So all they do, you unplug it, I'll guarantee you, 2 hours later, they're already in there. All they gotta do, they don't
Just
even have to cut nothing.
gather
Move it
up.
back.
They gotta move it back 4 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, this time of
It
year,
needs to be
I can
removed.
get, beaver trapped, no cost.
right, but I think what we need too is we
Move
need
it all
somebody
that
with a
stuff.
really good reach of a pulp loader maybe and a dump truck. And just start grabbing that,
Remove
at least
the
get a lot of that out of there to help.
That
But
makes sense.
I noticed that, I was down there the other night and I noticed like, wow, that's flooded hard again. And I bet, I wouldn't wanna do the math, but I bet it's pretty crazy what that does to the water level on Center Pond.
Oh, interesting.
When that floods, it's massive amount of acreage that's going underwater.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, you're talking a lot of water sitting there.
I gotta go down low, because
You'll
it
see what I
looked,
mean.
yeah, it looked good yesterday.
I didn't check it yesterday.
I got his name, and this, I mean, you're right, I've done the same thing. You pull the debris back, and it's just material for them to work with,
Sure,
but
it's
you
right
need to
handy.
be rid of the beaver. His name is Steve Goodrow.
Row,
Yeah.
I think I have his,
All right,
what's his,
717-7005.
yeah.
The other thing too, I mean, I know we've mentioned it before and prior to you and blah, blah, blah. We've always been told it doesn't do any good, but if you're going out 15 past the old Prides, that bog right there.
Yeah.
They have that,
They've got a massive, whatever, like a steel cage thing,
Yep.
so that they can't get within 4 to 8 feet of that.
No, some of those actually work pretty well. I've read, I mean, but you know, engineers they're trying to patent these things, right? I mean, they're expensive. But yeah, there are devices that will work.
But I mean, how many times have we unplugged this one this year? It's gotta be the 4th or 5th. What do you feel?
not so many this year, but in the 2 years I've been here, at least half a dozen times.
Yeah.
I'll talk to John too, because he takes his pulp loader out, so maybe if I hire him a truck,
Yeah,
he just moves them.
You just gotta put it on the downstream side.
Yeah,
That's,
well, he is,
yeah, but
but
it's,
that's the problem, is it doesn't go anywhere, it only goes from me to Jody.
yeah, if you put it on the upstream side, you're just helping them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all floating back in.
Okay, anything else on road? Correspondence? Additional agenda items? Selectmen's concerns? Executive session?
actually, in terms of correspondence, it wasn't a direct correspondence to the board, but I was, emailing Katie Foster at Redmond Winchell, and she is, as of today, she's left Redmond Winchell.
Do we know what she wanted?
She didn't say.
Huh.
Be interesting to find out. I really liked her as an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wouldn't be hard, I mean, unless she's left the state.
Correct.
But I mean, also if she's gone down south or something, then that might not be, yeah. Well, we'll see, well, that should be very easy to find out.
I think we should try to find out.
Yeah. She wrote you a letter?
Quick email.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Third.
It's 5 minutes to 6, and we